Down there is the city of Bradford, and it is a pretty big city. It's one of the, I suppose, the 10 biggest cities in Britain, I suppose, and it's not really that very well known. I suppose it's overshadowed by its close neighbour just to the east, which is Leeds, which is a bigger city. But it's a fine city. It does have many famous writers who come from here, and also artists. And so, although it's kind of, in a sense, lost its way now, it does have a great history. And in the past, it was a very famous textile town. But of course, the textile mills have practically closed down now. They've gone to other places overseas. But it is a fascinating place, the city of Bradford. It's obviously a big city. Saltaire, and it is a beautiful village. All these houses were built as the factory for the great mill, which is over there, Titus Salt's mill, and all these houses were built, I suppose, for the workers who worked at the mill. And up there's a rather impressive town hall. We'll go and have a look at that later. And it is certainly a very, very impressive place, and much better than expected. There's a restaurant over there called Don't Tell Titus, and there's, obviously an art gallery there, and it's obviously they've done it up and restored it exceedingly well, just to the north of Bradford. And here again is the history of the place, and we may go in there. There is kind of a famous artist from Bradford who has an exhibition. He's still alive. His name is David Hockney, and we may go in there, or we may have to come back another time. Well, we are now in the village of Saltaire, which is near Bradford, but it is a very, very nice place, and also the weather is nice because the sun has come out. It's late January now, 2024, and we've come to Saltaire because it is a well-known tourist place now. It's an old mill, a converted mill, and there are quite a lot of mills in Bradford. Well, there are quite a lot of mills in the whole of the north of England, I suppose. And this has been well restored, and it's also an exhibition by a very famous British artist called David Hockney. We may go there, we may not have time, but certainly we can come back another day. But the whole place is impressive because they have built, or at least Titus Salt, the owner of the mill, about 200 years ago, he built a lot of houses for his workers, and the houses are also very, very nice. So after we've left the restaurant, we're now in a restaurant called Don't Tell Titus, and after that we'll go out and have a look both at the houses and maybe go into the art gallery there. So this is a selection of Indian dishes, because of course Bradford is famous for Indian food, and this is, can you say, Fina, is this pakora or what is it?
It is pakora and then mini papadum with the mango dip. This is mango dip and this is yogurt apple.
It looks very, very nice, very appetizing. And both Fina and I, there's Fina and I'm behind the camera, we are both very much looking forward to this delicious looking meal. So speak to you soon. It is Salt's Mill, a very famous mill in England, and it has, as I say, been converted to, I suppose, maybe luxury apartments, but maybe offices too, but it's certainly been very, very well restored. And these buildings are magnificent because they are very strong, stout buildings. They're not, jerry-built. Saltaire United Reformed Church, And Fina is walking towards it, and we will go and have a look among the many beautiful buildings of this town close to Bradford. Work began on the beautiful church in 1856, and it was opened and dedicated to the glory of God on Wednesday the 13th of April 1859. Sir Titus Salt, the founder of Saltaire and of the mill opposite, paid for the building at a cost of then just over £16,000. He's interred along with members of his family on the south side of the church. So it strikes me that all of these buildings were built to last for hundreds and hundreds of years, in stark contrast to many of the modern buildings of nowadays. But of course, the age of the textile mills, looking back, it didn't really last that very long, because this church just behind us that we've just seen was built around, or completed around 1860. And by about the end of the Second World War, 1945, 1950, all the textile production had moved from this area to overseas. But certainly these buildings, fortunately, they've been kept and they've been put to very, very good use. So, this is the magnificent, I suppose, buildings of Saltaire, which were built for the textile mills, and it is amazingly large. It was an enormous industry in those days. There was a huge building there, and here was the canal, and of course over there was the huge main. The whole village, the whole place is beautifully made and completely different from modern buildings, as I was saying, because this was built of stone, and it was certainly built to last. And so it is a magnificent place. So here is Fina, and both of us today are at Saltaire, at Salt's Mill, which is a very famous place in England. And over there is the chapel where we've just visited, and here is the main mill, because it is a magnificent place. I mean, what do you think of the place, Fina?
It's just amazing, and apart from that, it's just the weather is good, so it's just perfect for walk around.
Well, it's certainly very, very good for January, isn't it? January 2024, and this is Salt's Mill. And these buildings were built for industrial chimneys, these chimneys here, but of course they don't look like industrial chimneys. They look like Venetian bell towers, or the bell towers that you would have found in Florence or somewhere. Absolutely magnificent architecture. These are the examples of the kinds of houses that the workers of the mill lived in, and again they're very, very well made, and they're also very well kept, of course, because Saltaire is still a very popular place to live for people in this area. And like I said before, they are very well constructed, and many houses, and it is certainly very, very impressive. So this is here, I suppose the town hall of the village of Saltaire. Very magnificent building, and built to last. These buildings were built to last for 1,000 years or more, I'm sure. And like I said before, the age of the textile industry in Britain didn't really last that very long. The mill was opened in 1853 by Titus Salt. By 1987 it stood empty. But now it's been transformed into a gallery. And here is Sir Titus Salt himself. Here are the people going into the mill. I would assume this is perhaps the 1950s, possibly 1940s. I'm looking at the style of the clothing. It's after the war, maybe lots of men, so maybe the 1950s.
tell me, where are we?
We are now in the Jinnah restaurant in Bradford, fairly central in Bradford, and it's called the Jinnah, which apparently, well, it is, I know this already, the first president of the state of Pakistan, back in late 1940s when Pakistan became independent.
Oh, I see. So what you're going to have?
I don't really know. It's a vegetable dish, but the gentleman recommended 2 different vegetarian or vegetable dishes, but I can't really remember the names.
Right. And I guess this is our starter, which is papadum,
Exactly.
with all the kind of like dip. So, bon appetit.
It is food, various dishes to accompany the papadums, a very delicious looking lime drink for Fina, and some sparkling water for me, which I really like. So this is the kind of the starter, the papadum starter. I've ordered naan bread and some vegetable pakoras or something for the main meal. I can never remember the names of all these Indian dishes.
Sagalu, I think.
Sagalu. Bradford is famous for curry in England because it does have a rather high Asian population, and that is noticeable when you walk through the town compared with a town like Chesterfield. But certainly there are lots of Indian restaurants here, and so it's kind of it's an interesting city. It's got a lot of history, Bradford. Because they do, I've mentioned before, they do have some marvellous old buildings which are very different from the kind of buildings you see in Chesterfield, although it's not too far away. It's an hour and a half maybe if you drive fast on the motorway, which I don't drive fast, of course. It's not far from Leeds. Leeds is a bigger city, but those 2 cities, Bradford and Leeds, are very close together. And of the 2, Leeds is kind of a more popular place, really. It's a bigger city, maybe more popular place. It's on the main railway line, which Bradford isn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have a good rail connection.
So would you recommend it when people wanting to go to Korea? Where is the best place to go? It's in Bradford, isn't it?
Well, we're now at the Jinnah, and the Jinnah is highly recommended by the various websites I've looked at.
That's right. So that's why I was saying that if you want the best curry, just go to Bradford because you have so many choices in restaurant, which we are now at the moment in Jinnah restaurant, which is in the 10 the best curry. Okay, bon appetit.
Here are the 3 dishes. Fina has the one on the left and I have the 2 on the right, and they look very nice. My 2 are vegetarian or vegetable dishes, and Fina has a chicken dish, but I don't know the name, but it's supposed to be very, very hot. And here I have a very nice naan bread, and so it's a very attractive meal, and both of us are very much looking forward to partaking.
Okay, sayang, what you having?
This is gajra, together with ice cream. It's very nice. It's a special Indian dish, a special Indian or Pakistani dish. It is very tasty and certainly very different too.
Yeah, what is it like? I mean, it is hot and
Very hot. It's hot temperature.
it's a combination and hot and with ice cream.
With ice cream, yeah.
It does look nice and the taste nice. Well, enjoy it.